This is Spud here from HitStandNow.com, coming at you with another quick hit. Over the last couple of days, I've watched the remake of The Evil Dead. It got me thinking about the old Evil Dead video games. If anybody hasn't played them, there are, as far as I know, there are three of them. There is Hail to the King on PS1, Fistful of Boomstick on PS2, and Degeneration on PS2. Hail to the King is just not a very good game. It's fairly shit. As far as I can remember, I spent most of my time running around just picking up fuel for my chainsaw and trying to find like keys around a bit of a maze of some description. It was a real letdown, it really was, because I remember really kind of putting myself out so I could afford this game, you know. But it was very, very disappointing. Not a great game. Over on the PS2 side of things, then we had Fistful of Boomstick, which was more of a kind of an action-based shooter. A lot of silly quotes with Bruce Campbell doing the voice and all that. I think there were silly quotes in Hail to the King as well, but I'm not entirely sure. But Fistful of Boomstick, there was a lot of time travel involved, from what I can recall. You know, of course, you're armed with your shotgun or boomstick in one hand and your chainsaw as your other hand. You know, it wasn't a bad game, it wasn't a great game, it happened. I played my way through it, I played worse, I played better. It was a forgettable experience all in all, to be perfectly honest. The third one then was Degeneration. I only played a little bit of Degeneration myself. What I played of it, I really liked though. You had a little homie with you, he was a half deadite, and I think he was voiced by Ted Raimi. This little fucking deadhead dude that basically you used to do all the shit that you couldn't do. If you couldn't get through a little hole in the wall, he'd do it for you, and you can pick him up and you can kick him around the place and use him as a weapon. And it was very, very silly. Unfortunately, the disc that I was playing was scratch a fuck, and when you got to level 3 or 4, it simply wouldn't load anymore. But I remember having a lot of fun with it. I thought it was good stuff. However, they're all based around the same kind of idea. They're all based around ash. Well, they would be, but they're based around the ash that ends up on everybody's t-shirt. You know, the ash that has the chainsaw for an arm and has a fucking shotgun and says groovy. You know, and he's a cool motherfucker. If chins could kill, you know what I mean? Rock and roll. I'm all about it. A lot of fun. Like, I love Army of Darkness. It was great crack. I loved Evil Dead 2. It was the first one I ever saw. I didn't realise it was a comedy first time I saw it. It scared the shit out of me. You know, I love that kind of comic booky action hero kind of ash. But it just got me thinking about the games and how they were so meh. And how maybe if they didn't go down that same road, that classic comic booky kind of fucking chainsaw-y ash, with like a shit ton of deadites to kill, made them action games. Maybe if they took a different route, a different genre completely, they would have been better games. The original Evil Dead, I know Evil Dead kind of it became a parody of itself, really, as a lot of horror movies did over the years. But just look at fucking Freddy Krueger shit, for God's sake. Look at Freddy 6. But it was a bit of a parody of itself, but originally it wasn't. Originally it set out to be a scary ass horror movie. Didn't have much in the way of budget, but it tried its best, and I still think it's a quality flick. I think it's really good. I think the idea of this isolated little cabin is fantastic. And why not run that kind of game? You know what I mean? Instead of doing an Evil Dead action game, what say we do an Evil Dead survival horror title? Think about all the horror games out there, and how one of the main things that keeps you kind of on the edge of your seat is the sheer isolation of it. Think of Dead Space, you know, think of Silent Hill. Corpse Party is another one. You know, the absolute isolation is fantastic. It's foreboding. It's scary as hell. Put somebody in that kind of atmosphere, in a little cabin, just surrounded by woods. You know, with no fucking way out. Sure, let them drive the car to the end of the driveway and realise they can't escape. Fucking say the trees have eaten up the road, like, you know what I mean? You know the horror in those woods, you know it's coming to get you. Put them in that kind of fucking, that kind of atmosphere, you know? And mix in a bit of insanity meter that's been doing the rounds over the last couple of years to really Evil Dead it up a bit, you know? So now what have we got? We've got some atmosphere, we've got an insanity meter, so you're never quite sure what's real and what's not. Then mix in a bit of the PS2 Ting game, where it's all about mistrust and trying to suss out which one of your homies is himself and which one is actually the Thing. So if you've got 3 or 4 other characters, you've got yourself, you've got this isolation, you've got all this going on, all of a sudden, this could be something else. If indie games have shown us anything lately, it's that it doesn't have to be a big budget action game. You know, that minimalistic games can be scary as fuck, man. You know what I mean? They really can. Just look at the video that Richie did here on the Hit Start Now YouTube channel of Slender when that first came out. Look at fucking the terror that game has. Yet the game doesn't really do anything. It's so simplistic, yet the atmosphere around it's fantastic. If you mix Evil Dead into that, just in this little cabin, never quite knowing what's real, never quite knowing what's not, and then all of a sudden one of your friends freaks out and does that whole fucking dead-eye twitch, think about it, man. It'd be fucking terrifying. It would be absolutely fantastic. And it's a pity that every time the Evil Dead name gets picked up for a video game, again, they go with this comic booky kind of ash, you know. I know it's classical and all, but it's been done at this stage. It's time to try something else and just see what happens. Survival horror, by its very nature, is kind of on the brink. It's finding it hard to survive. So, if you do mix a big budget name with survival horror, I did it right. I'd bring the whole genre back up from the dead, man. It'd be absolutely fantastic. Can you imagine burying your friends outside the cabin in that game? It'd be something else. I reckon it should happen. Bruce Campbell, make it happen, homie. Get that chin in gear. Make this shit happen. This is Spud from HitsThatNow.com, signing off. Good luck.